So today I'm going to speak about our product Ops Publish. So I will first going to give you some general information. Then I will go through the main workflows of Ops Publish and more specifically into the 3D application workflow that we can have. I will show you different samples of PDF files covering these different workflows. And I will give you an overview of the 3D PDF creation. And at the end, I will step-by-step debug 2 coding samples that are given with our package to let you see how it is to create a 3D PDF. So first, I'm going to switch to our developer zone. So our developer zone, this is the main landing page, and this is where you will find all the resources you need to work with our products. So here you have the list of our products. So today it will be more about Ops Publish. So if you want to download our package of Ops Publish, you can go on this page. You will have the download button. You will get a zip file, and when you unzip it, you will directly have this root folder with the binaries, the documentation, the include files, the sample files, etc. And it is in the include file that you put the license files that you will get by pressing this button. So yeah, you have in this developer zone the package download, the documentation, and the licensing. What you know, and it is valid for all our products, is that we release one major version per year, usually at the very end of the year. So we will release our 2022 version around the middle of December 2021. Twice a year, we release 2 service packs, which contains bug fixes and less new capabilities than in the major version. So these service packs are usually released in April and in July. And when it is needed, we can provide updates to address only critical bugs. And all this information are accessible in the release notes of our developer zone, where you can find the list of every bug fixes, every deprecated things, and all the new stuff that are in a release. As additional information, as Ops Publish is mainly used to create PDF files, it is mandatory to have Adobe Acrobat Reader or Adobe Acrobat Pro to read those PDF files. And Ops Publish works on platforms Windows 32 and 64 bits and Linux 32 and 64 bits. So now let's talk more specifically of Ops Publish, which is part of the Ops suite of our SDKs. So Ops Publish is for publishing 3D data, and with Ops Publish, you can publish them either in 3D PDF, HTML, and standard CAD formats. So there are basically 3 main workflows using Ops Publish. The first one is for archiving and interoperability. So it is basically to take your 3D data and to convert it to a standard CAD format, such as a STEP or an IJS file. The second workflow is to use either the PDF files that have been generated or the HTML5 file to use them as a viewer and as a collaborative tool. And the most powerful workflow is to create a kind of 3D application inside the 3D PDF file and to use it to do different things such as smart reports, work instructions, technical data packages, etc., etc. So here are the different workflows and samples that we can have as a 3D application. So I'm going to show you different samples of PDF that can be generated with OPS Publish. So the first one is a work instruction to replace the washer of this micro engine. So you have here all the instructions, and you can see for every instruction how you will have to proceed, and the description of the instruction here. So you are able to see every step. You are able also to play the animation in only one time, not separating them into different steps. And each time you have all the details of the current step that are updated here. Another sample file. Here you have the 3D parts. You have here kind of a bill of material. You can see that each time I click in the bill of material, the corresponding part is highlighted in the 3D data, that these fields are updated with the number of the article, the name of the article. Different manufacturers, we can provide this part. And if I click to one manufacturer, I have all the details that are coming here. And you can see that there is the relation between the bill of material and the 3D part, but you have also the corresponding, if you click in the 3D part, you have everything that is updated everywhere. In this one, it's the toolpath that you can see. So for every step, you have the part that is being created, the toolpath, the tool which is being used. So you can click here and have the different toolpaths that are appearing, the tool here that is updated, and you can see from step to step which toolpath and what will be the result. So each time you can display only the toolpath or only the result. Another one, more simple, here you have the color map to see the different results and issues that you can have on this part. You can click here. So it's not supposed to display, okay, yeah, only a square, but to display every useful data that you need to provide according to this specific part. So also you can see that the camera can be updated, etc., etc. And the last one, it's another technical data package. So here you can see that the markup can be linked and highlight the corresponding geometry. You have here what we call a view carousel, where all the views in the CAD model are displayed. So you can go through them and have, if needed, different details that are updated here. So this is different samples that are that can be created using OPS Publish. Some of them are coded as samples, so you will have all the code to generate it by yourself using our package. Some of them, like this one and this one, you don't have the code, and so it's called in the samples they are generated in the published gallery. So you have the coding samples where all the samples where you have the code to generate it yourself are here. And in vertical samples, you don't have the code, but you can see different other stuff that can be done with OPS Publish. So if I go back to my presentation now, we are going to understand a bit more what it is and what there is in a PDF file with 3D data. So first, we have a document. This is the main PDF file, in fact. In this document, you can have one or several pages. And in each page, you can have one or several 3D annotations and different 2D fields, like test fields, like list boxes, view carousels, tables, etc., etc. So what you will need to do first, of course, is to add your 3D data. So with OPS Publish, you are able to read different formats, which are the mainly standard formats. So they are listed here. So with OPS Publish only, your 3D data must come into the formats that are listed here. If you add OPS Exchange, our other toolkit to do 3D CAD format reading, you can add the capabilities to your product to read all the formats that are listed here. So with OPS Exchange, you add all the Dassault Systems formats, all the PTC formats, all the Autodesk formats, etc., etc. So this is the first solution. You read a standard CAD file with OPS Publish. If you have OPS Exchange, you can also import native CAD files such as a CATIA 1 or 301, etc. And if you want, you can also create your own PRC file starting directly from your data, whatever the format is. So OPS Publish and OPS Exchange are based on the PRC format. So PRC is the native ISO format, which is used by Exchange and by Publish. It's a format that has been developed here in Lyon, where I'm working. And in the PRC, you will retrieve anything that you have in your CAD format, in your CAD file. So the product structure, the assembly tree, the BREP, if there is, the geometries, if there is, the tessellation, if there is in your CAD file. If you have markups, you will retrieve the markups. If you have views, you will retrieve your views. You will retrieve in the PRC everything that you have in your CAD file, whatever the format, as soon as it is read by OPS Exchange or Publish, you have everything in the PRC. So just remember that you need Exchange if you want to read native CAD format. So now we are going to create a very simple 3D PDF document which contains only one 3D annotation. So we are going in the published standard SLN file that is given into our package. Hello world is set to run, so I'm going to enter the debug mode. So we arrive in the main function, and we are going to create our first 3D PDF with only a 3D CAD part in it. So first, what we need to do, of course, is to initialize the published libraries. So it is what we are doing here. We check that everything is okay. And after, we have to initialize the PDF library. So the PDF library is given with Acrobat, and it is the SDK of Acrobat to interact with it. So we initialize also this library. We have default arguments to generate the PDF file. So we are going to build our first PDF document. So first, we create an empty document, a blank PDF file, we can say. And we are going to create and to add a page to this document. It's at least your PDF document must have one page. So the schema to create something with Oops Publish is always the same. You have some data, you fill the data of the field that you want, and after you will add it to the document or to the page. So here we're creating a page. So it is always mandatory to initialize the data with this macro, whatever the data you are going to use. We have predefined orientation pages and predefined formats of pages. So here, as a reminder, you have the width and the height of the letter format. And we are going to append this new page that we have created to the document. So now our document has one page. Now we are going to read what there is into the 3D CAD file. So here we are setting exactly the same parameters, whatever we are using Exchange or Publish. So we say that we want to read the solids of our CAD data file. We want to read the surfaces, the wireframes, the PMIs, the attributes. We don't want the hidden objects. We don't want the construction references. We want the active filter, etc., etc. So after having set all those parameters, we load the data from the 3D CAD data, and we get what we are. We get what we call a model file, which is the main container of all your data file into Publish or Exchange. So here we have successfully load the CAD data into a model file. And now we are going to create, to transfer this file into the PRC format, which is the format of Publish and Exchange. So we are setting the parameters and we create a PRC stream file. So it will be like a PRC file, but in memory, and it will be embedded into the PDF file. So now we are going to create the poster. The poster is the image that you may want to see when open on the PDF to not have a straight view of the 3D. You can want to have an image before. So we are going to create it. So we create it from a file and we are getting an image. After we are creating the 3D artwork, which is the container of all the 3D which is contained into the PDF. So we are setting the stream, the PRC stream that we have created. Another option here that I won't comment today, and we are creating the artwork. Then we are going to design what it will look like into Acrobat when you open it. So do you want to see the model tree when you open your file or not? Here, we don't want to see it. Do you want to see the toolbar, the 3D data toolbar of Acrobat? As you know, what kind of lighting do you want? What kind of rendering style do you want? The background color. When do you want the 3D to be activated? It is when you open the page. It is when you really require the activation. You can design that. You can put a border if you want. You give the image, you give the artwork, and you have your annotation. We create it, and after we are going to position the annotation into the page. So for here, we create a rectangle. So one important thing to know is that coordinates in Acrobat are from bottom left of the page. So the 0 is lower left X and the 0 bottom is lower left Y. So e-page width, e-page height for right and top. So here, our annotation will cover the full PDF page. So now we are going to insert the 3D annotation into the page. We are cleaning all the memory of the model file. We save the document, we close it, and it's done. So here, with this code, which is not so big, we have created our first sample of our first 3D PDF file, and this is exactly what we have created. So a full annotation, we can display the model tree here, and we can also display the 3D toolbar, where you retrieve here the list of the views if you have it. You can show or hide the model tree. If you have an animation in your file, you can play with that. Here you have the projection, perspective, orthographic, the difference from the rendering mode that are available in OpsPublish, the different lights that are available, the background color, and the cross sections, but we won't speak about that today. So this is the most basic 3D PDF file that you can create with OpsPublish, only a 3D annotation. Okay, that's good. But now maybe we want to be able to create more cool stuff. So we are going to go step by step into another sample, which is called demo functionalities. So for this one, as usual, we initialize the OpsPublish library. We initialize the PDF library, and after we are going to build a more sophisticated document. So in this one, first, of course, we create an empty document. After, we will add to this document some metadata, some information that can be retrieved in Acrobat. So we give a title, we name the creator, the subject, the author, and we set all this information to the document. After, we are going to first create a poster and then create our first page. So we define an orientation, we define the size, we append our page. So this will be the first page of our document. And we are going to put a background image. So for that, we give different numbers, and we go through right image to display an image on the page. So as for the poster, we create an image from a file, an image file. We position this object on the page. So we are covering here all the page because it's a background image. And we insert the image as the background into our first page. We want to add a logo. So again, we create another image and we put it on the page. And now we want to write some text. So you select the fonts that you want to use, you select the color, you select the size of the text you want to use, and we are going to write the text crank on our page in black. So again, we have some data to fill, the text data in this case. So we give the font name, we give the font size, we select the color as a standard RGB color. We put the text, we create it first, and then we insert it into the page. We are going to add different text as a header, other header, etc., with the same functions. And as we have done for the Hello World stuff, we create the 3D annotation. So I don't go again into the function because it is all that we have already seen into the Hello World sample. So I don't go into it. So we have created our 3D annotation. We position it into the page, again with the coordinates. We clean the memory of the model file, and we are going to add some pages to our current document. So now what we can also do is that you have already a PDF file with some text, with whatever coming from Word or for whatever systems that you have used it to create it. You can directly add some pages of another PDF file to the PDFs that you are currently created. So it is what we are going to do here. So we open this other PDF file. In this PDF file, we have 5 pages, and we are going to add these pages to the PDF files that we are currently created. And in this PDF, we are going to add another 3D annotation on the 2 first pages of the other one. So each time, for all the pages in this other document, we get the page. And we are adding the same way that we have created the Hello World file. We are adding a 3D model to this page. So it is what we are going to do here. We have created another 3D annotation, and we insert it into the first page of the other PDF file. So the second page of the documents that we are currently creating. So we clean it up and we add the second annotation to the second page. So we are done with that. And we continue. Here. And so now our PDF file has 6 pages, if I'm counting correctly, and we are going to add again another page. In this page, we add another logo, and we can also, with Oops Publish, create some link. So here, we are going to create a link. So it is basically defining where the link is in the page and how it is displayed. So it will be a link that is highlighting. It will have a border, it will have a color. We create it, we position it into the page. So this is really the link, how it will work, but not yet what is it, what is the text with going to the link. So now what we want to do when we click on this link, we want to launch a URL. So we select this kind of action, S3D PDF action launch URL. And each time you will click on this link, your browser will open and will display the texof3d.com website. So it is what we are currently doing here, creating the action and adding the action to the link that we have previously created. We also add some images to this page, other texts. And with Oops Publish, you can also add to your PDF file an HTML table. So for that, we are using an add-on which is called Table to PDF, which is available on our download developer zone. So here it's an HTML table that is really standard HTML, as you can see here. Also the style, which is standard CSS style. So we are going to create a table with this data. So if you have not previously downloaded the add-on table to PDF and copy the binaries into your binaries, your installation of Oops Publish, it won't work. But hopefully here it is there. So I can use table to PDF to generate the corresponding table into the PDF file. And I insert this table into the PDF. I add some bottom text line. I create another poster. I add again the 3D annotation to this page that I position. And I clean up the memory. So basically here we have done what we wanted. So we are adding to all the pages a footer, except for the first one. So it is what we are doing here. So I will skip the loop to all the pages. And at the end, you can see it is commented here, but you can also leverage all the capabilities of protections that are present in Acrobat. So you are able to set up a password for the user, a password for the owner of the PDF file, and you can also define some permissions if the file can be edited, if the file can be printed, etc., etc. It is all possible with Oops Publish. You can also add attach a file to your PDF, and in Acrobat you will see that you can retrieve all the attachments of the PDF file. So here we attached an Excel file which contains measures. And we are done. We have created a beautiful PDF file with several pages. We're saving it. We're closing it. And that's it. So I'm going to show you the results. So this is this one. So you can see here that when you create and when you generate yourself the sample, the original one is still present in the coding sample, so you don't lose what it is generated with the original code file. So if you do some modifications, you always have the original file. It can be useful. And so now the samples that you are generating are generated at the root of the publish gallery and not into coding samples. So we have just created this one. To see, this is the background that we have added, the logo here, the titles, all the text, and the 3D here. So after have the pages that we have added from the other PDF file, also with another 3D parts that we have added here. Same for this one. Here you have a table. And here you have another part with the deviation distribution and color map that you can see here. And the HTML tables that we have created. So yeah, I think that we have run through the two samples that I wanted to show you today. So now, of course, I'm sure that everybody wants to give it a try. So for that, you can just go to our website and to apply for a free evaluation. So it's a 60-day free of charge evaluation with the assistance of a dedicated consulting engineer like me or one of my colleagues. So you will be able to download on our developer zone the package, the samples, the binaries, etc. And you will be helped by me or by someone else to use our product, maybe to already start to use it for your own application during 60 days. So yeah, I think that now I will give the handle to Gaby to see maybe if there are some questions and wrap up this session. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Isabelle. That was a great and informative look at 3D PDFs. It doesn't look like we have any questions. Let's see. Actually, we do. Is it possible to generate PDFs via the CLI or some kind of automation?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Sure. Is it possible to generate PDFs via CLI or some kind of automation?
Not sure I understand clearly the question.
So they're asking if you can automate the process of generating PDFs via like a command line.
Yeah, you can do exactly what you want. It's just a SDK, so you can of course automate the process. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so a little more information on that. I'm Jonathan from Tech Marketing. So these applications that you see that Isabelle has been going through, they can be compiled to an executable that you can run from the command line, and they can take parameters to generate a 3D PDF. Alternatively, check out our sister company, Tetra, Tetra, the number 4 and the letter D, tetra4d.com. And that is a toolkit that allows you to run from the command line interface, particularly the product Automate. So if you don't want to be doing software development yourself, it's wrapped up into a nice product that automates the generation of 3D PDFs. Under the hood, it uses Hoops Publish. Yeah, thanks for putting that in there. So that answers hopefully that question just a little bit more for you.
Thanks so much, Jonathan. We actually do have a couple more questions. Is it possible to capture an image of the CAD view and add an image on the next page of the PDF? Do you need me to repeat?
Yeah, please, because I was.
No worries. Is it possible to capture the image of a CAD view and add that image on the next page of the PDF? Yeah,
it will be exactly as soon as you have generated the capture of whatever you want. Not all the formats of images are available in Hoops Publish. It's mainly PNG and JPEG files. So once you have a JPEG or PNG, whatever there is in it, you can add it to a page. Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Looks like we have another question. Let's see. How does Hoops Publish manage huge AEC 3D BIM models while creating 3D PDF? Is performance within the acceptable limits? So I think they're asking, how does it manage large files?
It is managed quite correctly because Hoops Exchange is able to deal with a lot of very heavy models. The limitation can be if your model tree is very big, there can be sometimes some lag into Acrobat. So yeah, the model is displayed, but if you want to interact with it, if it is very, very big, and especially if it have a lot of leaves into the tree, sometimes there can be some lag, but it's very difficult to give numbers. So it really depends how the model is designed and what there is in it.
And Isabel, I think there are some limitations of Acrobat itself. Is it still only 32-bit? Is that correct?
I'm afraid I need to check that before giving an answer.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's still a limitation, but I do know for very, very large files, what you would expect in a normal 3D viewer, there are some limitations of the 3D viewer in Adobe Acrobat. So it's a limitation of the display device, the display
Exactly.
application.
Yes.
So many times I know Boeing has standardized on 3D PDFs as a way of communicating a lot of their models, but they don't view the entire model, but they usually embed a subassembly within a 3D PDF. So there are limitations of the Acrobat application itself.
Thank you, Jonathan and Isabel. We do have a couple more questions. Someone asked, is it possible to create an XML file for the model tree, and how?
So it won't. Yeah, I think it will be possible using only publish, and as an example, as a sample, we provide in the OOPS Exchange package, in the OOPS Exchange sample package, but I don't know if I already mentioned it, but publish and exchange are in fact in the same package. So you are able to generate an XML file from your CAD data, and we provide a sample which is called PRC2XML, which dump all your CAD data, at least those ones who are read by Exchange or by Publish, into an XML readable file that you can open in Notepad++ or something like that. Yeah, it is.
Thank you. I do have a couple more questions. Can we export a 2D floor plan drawings using model file exported from the BIM model IFC file?
I'm not fully aware of the capabilities that we have for IFC. Usually we read more the 3D data than the 2D. So if you go on our website on our developer zone, you can see what we can do with IFC. But I am not sure that we are reading the 2D parts of IFC currently.
Thank you.
But we can read, for example, other 2D formats like DWG or DXF or something like that. But for IFC, I'm not sure that we are reading some 2D.
Gotcha. Let's see. Next question. How can we read the pages inside the 3D annotation or elements inside the pages?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Sure. How can we read the pages inside 3D annotation or the elements inside of the pages?
In fact, this 3D annotation is in the page.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm not sure I really understand the question.
Yeah, and whoever asked that, please feel free to clarify, just so we can give you guys a better answer. I do have one more question. Can we export a scene from Visualize to 3D PDF?
Yes, we can. There is what we call the sprocket for publish, which is given with Visualize. So you have so it doesn't cover all the capabilities of publish, but quite a bunch of them. So yes, it is definitely possible.
And that. Thank you, Isabel. And to kind of further that, there's two flavors of Hoops Visualize, one called 3D F and one called HPS, and they both export to 3D PDF.
Thanks, Jonathan. See, I'm looking here and it doesn't seem like we have any additional questions. Isabelle, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just that I'm available by email if needed. If you have any further questions that are coming up, just feel free to email me at isabelle@texas3d.com, and I will be glad to answer your further questions if you have. And thank you very much for attending this session.
Thank you, Isabelle, and thank you, Jonathan. There will be a recording of this made available after the conclusion of this event. I'll be posting that in the TechSoft 3D community, which you see a screenshot up on your screen. If you haven't already, be sure to join. We can continue the conversation from today if you have any additional questions or get other answers to other questions you may have. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again next time.